one. So okay.
This button, yeah.
Look at it on that one where you block for YOLO, you go see say you don't muted. Look at the one blocked on the YOLO. You
See,
see
I'm
muted. If she's muted, you
It's
will
not
see
muted.
it.
It's not muted. Okay, okay.
Silence all phones. Can we? Are you live? Okay. Good evening, everyone. All right. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm happy to see Jerry, Architect Jerry, Bakari. We have Gideon Musa, and we have Nathaniel. I'm happy seeing everyone who is here live, and I'm sure many of you are anticipating to see how you can build wealth through real estate, how to become a millionaire through real estate. Please, I would recommend that you like, share for others so that they can know we are live on the show already. I'm happy to meet everyone here, and I'm really positive that every one of you would get value for taking out your time to be part of this great event. But basically, we'll be talking about how you can become a real estate millionaire. And this is a journey I've passed through, and I'm glad to be where I am today, because for me, it has really improved on the way I see opportunity. And every one of you can actually be able to do that. And one interesting thing about my story is that I also came from a very poor background, that when you look at it and see the opportunities that were available for me, you would know that everyone can be able to achieve it. But the question is, how have I been able to build an empire like Michelle Homes, which is just one of the subsidiaries of Michelle Homes? And for me, I'll be glad to share with you the things I have done, practical steps I have taken, and how I've been able to build this wealth. And every one of you can, irrespective of limitation. A lot of times, many people have not been able to achieve their desire of building wealth as a result of the environment they found themselves, as a result of the circumstance that define what their future may seems to be like. But most importantly, they are not able to utilize every opportunity that is available for them. And hence, they've been able to capitalize basically on why they've not been able to do what they need to do. And therefore, they complain every day on why they've not been able to achieve success through their endeavor. But I'll be glad today to share with you how you can become a millionaire. For me, becoming a millionaire is now a thing of the past, but rather how one can become a billionaire. And the essence is not just to make money, but to understand the principles that can make you truly wealthy. And many people don't understand some of these principles. It's not just for you to be able to make money that is the goal, but the goal is that how do I be able to understand how to be able to create value as far as real estate is concerned? Because certainly if you're able to understand the principle that make you to become a millionaire, then you should understand the principle that makes you truly valuable, because it is in your ability to create value for many people that you'll be paid for, and that by creating value, you'll be able to make money. So for real estate, personally, I know how I've started from a very humbling beginning, from nothing, in fact, as a realtor, as an agent. But through the years, I've been able to grow. And some of the things that have been able to form part of the way I think and analyze opportunity are some of these principles I would share with you. And these are principles that I have been able to put others through through several mentorship platforms, and I've seen how they've been able to build wealth through such platform, and you yourself can be able to. Some of you might have been into real estate. Some of you are aspiring developers who want to be into real estate, and you can be in real estate irrespective of what you do now. You don't have to quit your job. You just need to understand this principle, because at one point or the other, you may want to invest in real estate. You may want to buy a home. You may want to enter into one form of real estate or the other. It is important that you are informed about some of the principles, because whether you're a developer like myself or you're somebody who is earning and is looking forward to how he can be able to multiply his or her money through real estate, I can tell you that this is an opportunity for you. And this opportunity, if well utilized, you can be able to make so much money. I remember at one point I bought a property for as low as 1.5 million naira. In 3 years, I was able to sell that property for 28 million naira. But there are choices I have been able to make. There are things I have known that has positioned me to be able to take advantage of that opportunity. And that is my goal, to be able to share with you some of these things you can be able to do. So where do I start? How do I start is the question many people are asking. How do I be able to build this wealth in a way that will bring so much value to my life? And I know I'm talking to several audience from different places. Some are already working, some have some amount of money they have kept somewhere, and they are looking forward to how do I utilize these resources I have? How do I be able to identify very good investment opportunity? How do I be able to make the right choice? And in fact, I am willing to venture into this real estate. How can I be able to venture into it? How do I be able to get access to funding? How do I be able to understand property that has very high potential? I will be answering all of these questions in the course of this class, and I'm really positive that this class will be really impactful. And I will still encourage you, please do not hesitate to like, to also share so that other people can benefit from this opportunity. And that is the only thing you can do for others. Most likely you'll be changing somebody's life by sharing this masterclass about how to become a millionaire in real estate. So first and foremost, let me start with my story, which some of you have heard prior to this time. I'm somebody who, shortly after school, even before I collected my certificate, I wanted to do something with my life. And I have been opportune to be able to get to know that something can happen strategically as far as real estate is concerned, because I did my IT in a real estate company where they have the opportunity of selling land and also building. So as an architect, I was looking forward to what value I can create. So the first thing that came to my mind, I didn't have any money. I didn't even have money to run ads or even to understand it. But first and foremost, the first thing that happened to me at that time was my deliberateness to want to ask questions. What were the questions that I was able to ask? How do I be able to sell this property? Who do I need to know? Where do I need to meet these people who can be able to afford property as an agent? And shortly after then, I started as an agent. I remember going to the street of Abuja, standing in every go-slow, trying to share flyers, moving from one office to the other. You know, moving to one office to the other, they will not give you access. You will be experiencing a lot of challenges here and there, which of course I have been through that process. But one thing that for me kept me going, if not, you wouldn't have heard of Michelle. There wouldn't have been any name like Michelle today, because I have been discouraged. I've gotten to a point where I felt that I shouldn't proceed anymore. And I want to use this opportunity to tell someone that you have tried some things severally. You've tried your best to try to create value. You were intentional about it, but the result was not forthcoming. And a lot of people give up whenever there is a challenge. And for me, that has been a great differentiator, because even when I fail, I knew that I was so convinced beyond reasonable doubt that there's something good that can come out of this place. And that is the place of long-term vision. My life is a testimony that you can build wealth through real estate. You may not be able to have all the knowledge that you need today, but this is one assurance I want to give you. If you will remain steadfast, you will remain intentional about your pursuit, you will humble yourself to say, I want to learn the metrics that brings about success in real estate, then your story will be great. Because if I had given up when I was discouraged, if I had chickened out to say I wouldn't want to continue this journey because I tried and it failed. A lot of people try things, and when the result is not forthcoming, they usually give up. For me, I didn't give up because I was so certain that there is something good that can come out of this thing. And with the fact that I didn't know anybody then in Abuja, this is just 2017 I'm telling you about. But as I began, I became intentional about it. I went online to find out what I can do. I get to know about a property platform called Gigi. And I marketed on that platform. I was deliberate. I was posting on my Facebook. I was looking at social media platform because I didn't know anybody physically. So all the opportunity I had was to leverage on a wider network, which social media was there for me. I was always on Facebook. And I utilized that opportunity on Gigi and just found a sign of a property that was written for sale. And that was the first property I put on my profile and put pictures of the flyers. And I remember receiving a call from someone who is interested in buying that property. And that was my first sale of real estate. And I got a commission of 230,000 naira. That was a game changer. That was the first money. I tried that thing for 4 months. I kept doing it. I didn't get the result I wanted, but eventually the result came. And when the result came, I was happy, I was excited. I didn't know what to do with the money. But one thing I did that also changed the way I looked at things now is that I invested half of that money on online ads. And then you would pay money to Gigi account, and then they would put your property at the forefront. That gave me the opportunity to be able to interact with more people in the industry, because as people were looking for property, I began to know many other agents. They were able to connect me with other WhatsApp groups. I was able to build relationship with people who really understood the industry. With those questions being posed to them, they were able to give me answers, and I used that opportunity as a learning curve. After that time, I was not opportune to be able to get a sale, but the relationship I have built over time through that process for more than another 6 months, I've not been able to make a sale. But you see, one thing that kept me going was that I was learning in the process. And many people who want to venture into real estate are not devoting themselves to learning the metrics that makes them succeed. And that was one thing that I did intentionally. I used the opportunity to know and understand Abuja because I was always going out for inspections. I was going out to see what is happening. Every inspection I am there. I'm asking questions. I'm finding out about real estate development. I'm understanding the terrain, locations. I'm trying to understand the value of property in all the areas in Abuja. Now, fast forward to a point where I had the opportunity of knowing where they are selling estate land at a very good and affordable price, which then was around 1.5 million. And I remember going to the real estate developer to tell the developer that I'm willing to sell your property for you, but I wouldn't want you to pay me commission. I want you to reserve properties for me. And he agreed, and we strike a deal. I told him I was going to sell 10 properties for him in a month. And if I sell 10 properties, what will be my incentive? And the person offered me a plot of land and some commission in terms of monetary time. I did that thing with all my strength because I was really passionate. So one thing again that I've realized as an instrument for success in real estate is your ability to be passionate about what you do. I was passionate. I really want to succeed in it. So I went out all out to succeed. There was no question of whether I should fail or I can fail. I knew that there is a possibility that I can fail, but at the same time, I was quite positive that everything will go well. I put into to the best of my ability. I marketed that property with all of my heart. I was only able to sell 2 properties. I got commission for it. Consistently, I continued that process. And through that process, I was able to, with time, over a period of 6 months, I was able to sell more than 30 plots in 1 month. Yes, I'm telling you, 30 plots. And when I began to get those commission flowing, I didn't start by buying a car. I started by reserving a property. And for me, that was a game changer because the same property that he would sell to me at a discounted price, I was able to sell with a markup of about 500, a property of 1.5, then the value of the property has appreciated, and he was selling for me for around 1.1. So I had some level of markup because I've paid for the property. And with time, I've been able to reserve so much. Accidentally, or as it will occur, in another 3 months, the property that was sold to me for 1.1 has been reviewed to 2.5 million in less than 1 year. That is over 100% return on investment. And are these things that happen once a blue moon, or they are things that can actually occur It can actually occur because I have seen real estate appreciate by over 150% in 1 year. And for me, that was a game changer. And I continued to do that thing deliberately and intentionally. Now, many people did not know that those skills I have learned through those period of my testing built capacity in me. And that is why I keep telling people, whatever you find your hand to do it to the best of your ability. I wasn't doing that because I wanted an immediate result, but I was doing that with the intention that I wanted to learn this thing very well. And today I've become a master of it, not because I have gone to school to study real estate, as much as I've spent money after I have learned the practical part of it, but I also was intentional to go to school to understand the dynamics of real estate at a national level. And today, by the grace of God, Michelle Holmes is having offices in UK, in US, and we are expanding even in Lagos, Kano, Adamawa, Abuja. These are where Michelle Holmes have gone today because I was intentional to learn the things that makes all the difference. And if you must be able to succeed in this space, then you must be able to learn the metrics. Now, what are the things that you need to put in place as a person that will give you an opportunity to be able to build wealth through real estate? What are the deliberate things you need to put in place? Because these are things that have worked for me. Number one, like I mentioned, is your willingness to want to learn the trade. I am happy that all of you are here joining this class to be able to understand what can I do differently to be able to optimize my opportunities in real estate. And that is a good one. You should go for knowledge. Be intentional about working with people who are in the industry because you can learn from your colleagues, you can learn from people in the industry. These were things I deliberately invested my time to do. And one thing that set me apart as a person, beyond relating with people, I did not think that I have all the time in the world to succeed. I looked at it that this is the only opportunity I have, and therefore I want to maximize every opportunity. So I was not trying to do it whether I would succeed or not. No, this was what I put my mind to do. This was what I have put my life to do, and I was in there to succeed. And that brings me to the place of positive mindset as regards what you do. A lot of people are not intentional about what they do. I believe that with this I can succeed. I have put my strength in it. I have put all the level of creativity. Yes, I have failed. When I go out to market properties and I don't get the result, I come back and I get discouraged. But I tell myself, could anything good come out of this thing? And I tell myself that yes, I can be able to do something about it. And that positive mindset kept me going even when there is no result. But one good thing is that I picked every opportunity to fail as a learning curve for me. I was deliberate about learning such that I wouldn't want to repeat the same mistake again. A lot of people, when they are learning new skill or trying to do new things, the first thing they try to do is that it must work in this first attempt, which it may not. But the lessons those things will teach you, you may not be able to get it in any book because that experience is customized for you. And that is one thing people have failed to realize. I have failed many times. But one thing is that I have used those failures as a stepping stone to my success. So a lot of people who have ventured into real estate and have been beaten as a result of lack of doing due diligence or ignorance or peradventure as a result of meeting very bad developers who have put you in jeopardy, or your friends, your family, and people give up on the success that has to do with real estate. It's a good venture, but the most important thing is, would you take this opportunity to learn all that you need to learn? I was quite positive about some of these things, and it formed a very good mindset in me. Number three, I was willing to add people value. And let me tell you one key thing I've come to realize. You make real wealth in real estate when you've been able to create value. So what value have I identified as key metrics to success in real estate? And this for me has been a game changer even today. And every day it keeps blessing Michelle Holmes because we've understood what are the values that affect the value of real estate market. What are the things people are looking for when it comes to real estate? And your ability to understand some of these metrics is what will place you on the edge. It's what will bring people to you. It's what will bring about value because people are looking for value. I want you to know that there are many reasons why people venture into real estate. But let me mention 3 good reasons why people venture into real estate. Then you will be able to see the place of why value creation is really important and what Michelle Holmes has been able to do in order for them to be able to create value. The first thing that Michelle Holmes did intentionally after realizing what people need, and what is it that people even need in the first place? That is the question you would be asking. The first thing that people need is they look at real estate as an opportunity to make money. The question is, how can you as an agent or an investor who has invested your money tell yourself that you want to have good return on investment? These are the things people are looking for. The second thing people are looking for is that people are looking for home. People are looking for where they could stay, where they could have shelter. Every one of us is looking for shelter. At one point or the other, every one of us have understood that real estate is a game changer. And many people have looked at it that, okay, having a home is a safe abode for them. So people are looking for home. The next thing people are looking for is an asset. People want to own a home to their name. People rejoice anytime they have home. So looking at these 3 things that makes people look for home, we ask ourselves, what can we do? What were the challenges that people experience? And we've come to realize that the guarantee and the trust that people have good land titles. So one thing that is important that you need to know, whether you're an agent or anything, is that can you sell for somebody property that have good title? For me, this has been one thing I have been intentional about. And I told myself, whether as an agent or a business owner, I will not put my hand into anything that would collapse. So I am quite deliberate about doing due diligence as far as the title is concerned, because a lot of people have lost money through real estate. A lot of people have fallen into scams. So the first responsibility I took is that I will not sell plot to anybody that does not have good title. And even for you, let me tell you, the one commandment of real estate is that never buy a property that you did not do due diligence on. Irrespective of how much you trust the person, it is important for you to do due diligence. Before I continue, let me advise you, please do me a favor by sharing these things to others so that they can be part of it. Share, like, and comment. I'm glad to hear your comment. I can have Mark Luke mentioning and also making comment. Please do not hesitate to tag your friends and let them come and be part of this great program. Let them benefit from it. Even if it is the last part of the pot, let them come and partake in it. So we're going forward. It is important that you get a land that has good title. That is number 1. Number 2 is that you must go for good location that has prospect. Now, as a real estate developers, don't wait for a place to be fully developed, but you must be able to find eye for detail to be able to understand what property will appreciate soon. How is the location strategically placed? Does it have capacity to grow? Now, for those people who buy in developing areas like Abuja, it is important for you to ask one fundamental question. A place can have potential to grow, but the question is, the person you are buying from in form of a developer, does he have the credibility? Does he have the techniques to be able to bring about value within a short period of time that can bring about return on investment? If that person does not have capacity to be able to bring about value, I can assure you that there will not be return on investment. And people who have bought that property with the intention that they will build their house, at the end of the day, they will not also be able to live in that place because the development did not meet up with what? With the timeline that the person is intending to have a home. For those who are buying property for the purpose for assets, they may look at long term, but long term does not mean forever. Long term means over a long period of time. So you must be intentional to find out, is the location good? Because your responsibility, even for yourself, is to be able to find a very good place that at the end of the day, people will benefit and be happy. In fact, most of our clients in Michelle Holmes, after buying property from us, come back to thank us and say, I am glad I have bought a property in your estate. The next thing you should check is, what is the capacity of the developer to develop the property within the desired time frame? Does that person has capacity? Is he sincere? Does he know what he is doing? Beyond doing due diligence on the land, it is important you do due diligence on the developer. Whether you are buying in an estate or even the person selling to you, so that you don't go and buy property from people who have antecedents of being 419ers or land grabbers. It is important that you run your due diligence from the time when you are buying the property till including the developer who is selling the property for you. Your ability to do all of the due diligence would help you to avoid pitfalls. And most importantly, what is the possibility and what has the real estate company done in the past 1 year or 2 years? What was the value of their property? And what could be the value of this property with time? It is important you put these things together. As a developer, these are things we are intentional to do before we launch a property. We can be able to predict how the property will appreciate over time. Now, so we put a lot of intentionality to making sure that nobody buys a property from us and loses. Now, the ability to create that value distinguishes Michelle Homes as a company. We are able to achieve that with little because we make sure that at the end of the day, whosoever buys property from us gets value. And if you must end well, be it as an agent, be it as an investor, these are things you must be intentional about. More so a developer, you must be intentional about value creation. And these are things we've been able to do well. And putting these things together, you realize that that sincerity, first of all, as an agent while I was coming up, to be able to make sure that these things I provide for my client, they were able to trust me. Now, when we started real estate, we didn't find it very simple and easy. It came with a lot of challenges. People couldn't trust us. We didn't have the right brand. The most important question is, how have we been able to make that brand? What were the things that separated us from other developers? What were the things that we ensure we put in place that became a game changer for us? Number one thing that, for me, I was intentional about was to become a leader, not just to my employees, but even to clients who are patronizing me. So I first of all take the position of followership, even for my employees, knowing that if I must grow far, it's not about me, but it's about me building a solid team. And that is one thing people did not realize about Michelle Homes. We're intentional about the team we are building because we realize that together we can make more things. Together we can achieve so much. So I had a long-term goal. And if you must be in real estate and become a billionaire and build real wealth, then you must be a person of vision. I'm quite intentional about the choices I make today because I know those choices will tell about my tomorrow. And I want to ask you a question. The choices you make about how you make money today would reflect in your tomorrow. We're not just doing it because we just want to cash out and move on. We're doing it because we are intentional about what we want to give people. And even staffs that we bring on board, we educate them to ensure that they have the principles to be able to communicate the value in which we sell. And it is important for you to know that you cannot achieve this thing alone. You would work with people. And the most important rule that governs my life as a person is first of all to ask myself one simple question. Whether it's an agent or a friend, what value am I leaving in our relationship? For real estate, relationship is key. I have built that across board. With people in the industry, I have built good relationship. And we can't do business with you without me leaving value in your life, be it in terms of money, in terms of meeting up with that agreement. Now, that starts with the practice. Now, that in turn helps us to be able to build a very big concept of integrity. What we were doing, we were not doing it because we wanted to please a few people. It was who we are. And that is the place of integrity in building any business. Integrity for me has contributed to about 40% of our success as a company. How have we been able to achieve that? We make sure that for every business we do, we give you a promise. Did we accomplish it? A lot of people don't take notes and consider and are deliberate about making sure that integrity runs through your vein and how you do your business. For me, it's a game changer in real estate because we will not sell something that is fraudulent. We will not do things that will hurt our client. So it begins with people in the industry. And that was how we started building very good brand. Because as we relate with agents, we are transparent with them. When we relate with people who want to buy our property, we're transparent with them. So we are as open as a book. Whatever we cannot do, we will tell you. And for me, transparency in business would go a long way in helping you achieve so much success. Transparency in business is very important. We're as transparent as possible. We're intentional to tell them what will work and what will not work. Some other people are looking for high expectation. And for us, we will be transparent to tell them. And one of the key things we have been able to do is to build transparency across board. We get little profit margin, but guarantee more of the return to our clients. There are some principles we adopt as a business until you join my mentorship class. And if you want to join my mentorship class, you can go to barkayumichelia.com. You will see different opportunities I have, where we talk to business leaders who are developers who are wanting to venture into real estate, where we teach you the principles and what it takes to succeed as a real estate developer. So this is just a master class. I may not have all the opportunity to teach you all of those things, but it is important to know that there are strategies to put in place to ensure that you deliver real-time value. And in being that sincere, you birth out integrity. You birth out the true sense of being true, because a lot of people have been scammed, man. A lot of people have lost their money as far as real estate is concerned. So it is important for you to be able to adopt all of these things. And most importantly, how do you calculate return on investment? Now, a lot of people don't know how to be able to calculate the return on investment they will have on a property. And the first thing I would want to say as far as return of investment is concerned, after putting all of these things in place, what is the history of that place as far as return on investment is concerned? Because if you're not intentional about history, or people who have understood the business, who have been able to do that thing for you, then you would likely get lost. You will invest in a property and you will not be able to have very high return on investment. So it is important to ask, what has been the return on investment? A lot of people want to look at return in 10 years' time. No. For us in Michelle Homes, we are doing return on investment on a yearly basis. We are talking about return on investment in 6 months. We are talking about return on investment in 1 year. One of the things many people have done wrong, and you must be very careful, is that they overhype the property value as of the time when they want to sell it. So just imagine if you come to buy a property where the property is overvalued, or the property is not delivering on its desired result. It's like I'm having a network challenge. It's still on? Okay, I guess the network is back. So most importantly, if you buy from developers who have inflated the value of the property, how sure are you then you're going to get real value at the end of the day? Because the property has been inflated for the next 2-3 years. So your return on investment starts counting after 5 years. But that's not how we do business. And it is important to understand these metrics that count, because you can start getting your return on investment after 1 year, after 2 years. I have seen people get as high as 150% return on investment on property investment with Michelle Homes. It means that there is something we've understood about this thing that can make it work. And it is something we've tried in several quarters, and we've seen the result. So it is important that when you put these things into practice and you're deliberate about it, there's nothing that will stop you from getting the result. You would certainly get the result. So it is a matter of, have you been able to apply the right strategy that have been able to distinguish you? So even as a buyer, even as an investor, it is important to put those things into consideration. For us as Michelle Homes, we've understood this principle and we're doing it well. The question is, if you're buying outside of a place where Michelle Homes is not there, do you need to put these things into consideration? Because that is the best way to build wealth. And the first thing you should look at is, Don't look at where it is now, but what potential it has. What is the guarantee that value will be created within a short period of time that will guarantee your return on investment? Now, one of the reasons why many people have not been able to build wealth through real estate, for me, as I have observed with many young people who have money, is that they want to first show off their money and not invest it in the right place. And where you invest is like where you sow your seed, determine the amount of fruit you get from such investment. It is important that you plant your seed in a fruitful vine where it is being watered every day. And you need some level of expertise. You may not be able to hire that expertise as an individual, but you can leverage on a real estate company that is doing well. That is the advantage of having to buy from a real estate developer rather than from buying it from conventional people who are not into real estate, because for a real estate, you begin to have people come as a community to be able to create that value. Does the company has the capacity to create that community? And is the developer intentional about delivering infrastructure? What has he done before? What is his rate of deliverables? How has the person over time been able to deliver? These are questions you should ask. And these are questions I've asked myself and ensure at the beginning of business that we end up delivering such value. So one of the things I see people doing is that they don't take their time to do all of those things and to ensure that they get return on investment. And not just return on investment, but also to ensure that the place will develop for them to be able to stay in the next 1 year, in the next 2 years, when the people have finished their building. Thank you very much, Victor Zra. I think I'm really happy. He's a friend of mine and I'm happy to meet you. Thank you for that comment. So we're going forward. It is important for you to ensure that you follow return on investment as a tool to be able to guarantee your success as far as real estate is concerned. The next thing is start small. Don't wait until you have so much million. If you have 1.5 and after doing the due diligence you're supposed to do, the developer tells you that this place has potential. You check their history, you check their analysis. It doesn't matter. Start with the small you have. Be intentional about continuous investment in real estate. Even when you are being misled, because you will meet people who are not transparent, you meet people who are not honest, but it shouldn't stop you. The most important thing is, have you understood this thing? And if you keep following me on my social media, I will give you tips on how to be able to succeed in real estate. It's a continuous process. It's an hour that we have. I may not have all the opportunity to be able to explain to you, but I also have a mentorship platform where I can be able to teach you small by small, and I'm really positive that you're going to really get so much value from those mentorship platforms I have put in place. But most importantly, go for return on investment. Be willing to start small and be willing to go for it in big way. Real estate has to do with patience. One of the most important thing or mistake I see people make when they invest in real estate, they want to cash out quickly. Don't take your money that is supposed to be for an immediate need and you use it to buy real estate and you say you want to sell in 6 months. The truth of the matter that many people will not tell you is that real estate is not liquid. So there may come a time when the market may be slow, but that does not mean that the value of the property would reduce. No, it will keep appreciating. Real estate works on a principle of demand and supply. There's usually a high period of demand, there is usually a low period of demand. But you must be able to study it to be able to understand the trend. Your ability to understand the trend will help you to know when to enter a project and at what point to exit. And it is important to know that. So a lot of people buy property with the bid to sell after 3 months, 6 months, and it is when they are in a distressed situation, they are desperate, they want to sell a property, and then suddenly they will realize, this thing did not give me the desired result, or I cannot be able to convert my asset into cash quickly. But there are strategies to be able to do. So for me, if you have so much money, I will advise you that you split your risks. Instead of you to buy a property in one location, it is important you distribute your risks across board, where you have them in 2-3 locations, and it is important that you buy them in different sizes. You can start with the smaller ones, the medium ones, and the large ones. With statistics, you will be able to find out what sizes move faster, at what location will I be able to buy and get very good return. These are things you need to put in perspective in order for you to be able to make sound decisions as far as real estate is concerned. And finally, on my tips, if you want to know how you can invest, come to Michelle Homes. Make an inquiry. We'll be glad to tell you where we have properties and how you can be able to optimize those opportunities. But beyond that, and most importantly for locations where we may not be able to provide expertise to you because we don't understand the geography, it is important that you do your due diligence to be able to understand those geographical locations and be able to understand the dynamics and the uniqueness of real estate. I've been opportune to start real estate in different zones and areas in Nigeria and even in diaspora. There are many factors that play a factor. So your ability to understand some of these principles would help you to be able to play irrespective of location and irrespective of the dynamics that you will experience. So most importantly, try to understand the terrain, try to understand the location, try to understand what are the level of infrastructure that can be made available within the short period of time. That will now give you an idea of how to be able to do that. Now back to my journey and where I want to conclude. This is a journey I have taken in 6 years. And by the grace of God, we've been able to achieve so much success. But one thing has kept me going throughout this period, a good sense of vision. I really know where I'm going. I am certain about the value I'm willing to create. That sense of vision keeps driving me. And for everyone who wants to be in real estate, you must have a long-term vision. That ability to have long-term vision makes you to keep doing and planting for your tomorrow. I'm intentional about the choices I make today about my business. And I see the ripple effect tomorrow. All the choices I have made as far as my business is concerned are not choices I have made today. These are choices of 2 years ago that many people see today and celebrate me. And I can tell you that the result I'm getting for my 5 years is what I am planting today. I have gone 5 years into the future. And you must be somebody who is visionary. I've invested in the next 5 years of my business. And I can assure you that with a good sense of vision about your tomorrow, you can be able to have good results as far as real estate is concerned. And let me give you the last story that breaks the camel's back. There is a property I bought for 200 million in Abuja. In less than 1 year, I sold that same property for 600 million. And that is the power of real estate for you. Real estate works, irrespective of the fact that you may not be able to get it right. It's more than speculation, it's understanding the strategy. And if you keep doing that, if you keep following me, keep sharing my content, I'll be glad to share much more with you. At the end of this class, I will tell you, have a good vision. After having a good vision of what you want to accomplish, it is important that you work with credible people. Do your due diligence. Ensure that you pursue value over just trying to get money, be it as a developer or as a seller. A good name is better than riches. If you follow this principle adequately, there is nothing that will stop you from succeeding. Thank you very much for listening to this class. I will give opportunity for a few persons to ask me questions, and I'll be glad to answer. I will join you in, so please, you can send a request, and I'll be glad to get a few persons who would ask questions, and I'll be glad to answer. Or, to make it simpler, if you feel you can make a comment, I'll be glad to take your comment, and then, so if you have questions that you think you would want me to give you answers to. Okay, I have a question from Ifoma Goodness Igwe. My pleasure meeting you. So you can do well to share with your friends this video, even after the video, so that they can watch. At what point does a realtor or real estate firm need an office space? Now, the truth of the matter is you cannot talk about starting a business if you don't have space that you would entertain guests. So at a point where you begin to have clients who would want to come and see you in the office, you can have a one room that you use to be able to accept clients. For me, as an agent, I had an office, and I looked at that to be of a priority to me because people want to have confidence in the people they are doing business with. And for a real estate company, people will not want to meet you on the street. People don't want to meet you at a park or at a hotel. People will want to know that they are doing business with a real person. So as much as you start doing the business, you may not have an office. But as soon as you start getting the money, it is good you look for an office and you are deliberate about it. And get to know and understand that as you're having a cost to that office, the business should be able to pay for its cost. So you have to be intentional about timing and at what point you should go to get an office and what return does the office or will the office give you within the short period of time. All right. Thank you very much, Med and Johanna. I appreciate you. And I should talk about land banking. A lot of public servants want to venture into it, so we want to know more. Okay, so the best way to enter into land banking is to find out places where there are opportunities, where it has potential to grow. And land banking starts with savings. A lot of people don't save money. So even when opportunity comes for them to acquire a property from distressed people, from people who are willing to sell at a discounted cost, they may not be able to. So it is important for you to start land banking with saving some money. Very important. The second part is that you can take payment plan options, which will be good for you. And if you don't have such opportunity, you can start by saving with the intention to buy real estate. That way you can be able to gather your sum of money. Don't be in a hurry to want to buy a car, to impress people, to want to buy the best of clothes just because you want to please people. A lot of people have messed their life trying to do that, but I don't think it's quite sustainable. When I started my business, I had more than 100 million naira before I started thinking of buying a car of 3 million naira. These are my personal choices, and today I'm not regretting making those choices. I remember when I got married, I had more than 200 million naira in my account, but I did not spend more than 2 million naira on my wedding. So these are some of the choices you have to make and be deliberate about how you utilize your money. The next question I have from Samuel, what creative ways, what are creative ways we can attract investors or raise funds without having a track record? Number one is integrity. You see, if you've built integrity over time, people trust you and people see what you do. For me, I've been able to use my business. I did not get investors who invested in my business, even though I had a lot of people who were looking forward to investing in my business, but I didn't give that opportunity. But most importantly, other people can want to invest in your business. And how do you be able to attract them? You attract them, first of all, by guaranteeing them your expertise, that you know what you are doing and you are able to convince them that whatever you lay your hands to do, you are intentional about succeeding. You can start some business and they may fail, which is part of the business. It comes with risks. But most importantly, have you built expertise in it? That is the first question. Two, are you credible enough for people to hand over money to you? And credibility is built through relationship over time. So if you don't also have people who can trust you, people who you've proven to be competent over time, how can they trust you with their money without building track record? You have to build some level of expertise in what you do for you to be able to attract investors. And most importantly, I believe is a good and a sincere sense of purpose. When you share a very valuable idea or suggestion to people who have capacity to be able to invest in your business, you realize that people will trust you because you've been able to have a good sense of vision. If you can be able to answer their questions, if you can be able to listen to them as they speak, so you get to know that these people can be able to deliver value. And these are things investors would look at before they invest in your business. Jerry is asking a question. How do you balance your personal life with demands of real estate? Oh, this is a time for me to talk about my wife. For me, I've been able to balance it. I have a very supportive woman who is always there to support me, who is always there to ensure that I'm doing well. She helped me cover up for a lot of areas. So if you are not married, Jerry, sorry about that. But of course, I've come to find help with my wife, who has come to be more than just a wife. She has become a partner in progress. She has always supported me. She has prayed for me. And even though I am very and extremely busy, well, I can tell you that I try as much as possible to have a good personal life balance. I spend time with my wife, and every opportunity I have time with her to play with her. I try to have at least 2 hours of my time when I come back from work, having to spend time together. We spend the best moment rather than to fight with the best moment. You know, people use their best moment to fight and quarrel. I use my best moments to enjoy the best part of my life. And I try as much as possible to eat well, which is very important. I try as much as possible to take some walk. And that is why I've been able to maintain the body I've maintained, even though I'm growing fat at this point now. But these are some of the choices I personally had to make. But most importantly, you have to be deliberate about spending time with family so that you don't go out there to make the money and then you come back home and you don't have a home again. For me, the true essence of success in business is when you are able to be happy. And for me, I can tell you today that the money I have is not what gives me joy. It is the family, because I've been able to build happiness around that cycle. And it gives me so much joy beyond even all the wealth or empire one has been able to build by the grace of God. But most importantly, you know, I have a happy home. I have a wife that is always supportive. I have a family that is always there for me. And I have good friends who are also there to support me anytime I need them. So having very good and quality people around your life would help you to be able to build personal life. So therefore, I guess these are all the questions I can see now. Is there anyone? I don't think there are more questions. Thank you very much for your time. I hope to be doing this as often as I can. So thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you in the next one. Please do not hesitate to always like, share, and comment on my status. You can send me a DM. I'll be glad to answer you to the best of my ability. Thank you very much, and God bless you.